On this episode of Street Rat Garage, we are installing a compressor from MaxPeedingrods. So in another video, we upgraded the tow pig, our 2011 Chevy Silverado 1500 with a airbag system, airbags and a compressor. Well, the compressor, it does an okay job, but we need something a little bit bigger. It's taken too long to air up those bags. So we reached out to our friends at MaxPeedingrods and they sent us a little bit larger compressor. Let's have a look at that. All right, let's just open up the old box here and unpack it. And what's this up top here? Oh, it's got a remote control with it. There we go. So you ever see an air compressor that has its own remote control? Well, now you have. What else do we have here? Air controller kit, wireless controller kit, that's there. It looks like you can use it with an app on your phone as well. We have wire, we have nuts, bolts, fittings, and even zip ties. Everything you need. Oh look, even self-tapping screws. That's probably all that we're gonna need. We already have a compressor in the truck, so we're not gonna need all of this. We have the wiring already set up on our truck. There's some wire loom. Get a lot of stuff with this. Here's the main deal right here. Oh, look, there's some more airline and batteries included. And down here is another mounting bracket if you want to like mount it over, I guess, over the frame or something like that. You got a lot of options when you're mounting this. What I like is it's well padded. This is not a cheap foamy box. It looks like it's kind of 3D printed. It's in layers and it's really soft to keep this air compressor nice and safe on shipping. Okay, let's have a look at our main prize here. Our compressor. This is it's a rather well-built unit. This bracket right here is it's incredibly thick. I don't know how thick it is. What, 1/4 inch? I don't know my stills, but it's got a big control box on it with your inlet and your outlet. So your line's going to go through here, out there. Can you see the compressor? The compressor's inside. It's protected inside this frame so nothing happens to it. And it has some holes for mounting. This is probably where the U-bolt goes. Something in that configuration. To the side, probably. I would imagine the frame right there, but we already have a place to mount this. We're not going to need this extra mounting hardware, but you can definitely mount it to the side of your frame, so it's very well protected. But it's got a good little pump here and some nice looking electronics. Wonder how much PSI this sucker puts out. So let's start putting some of this together. Let's bench test this first. I always like to make sure everything works before I crawl up underneath the truck and start putting it all together. So plus it's easier to assemble here. So we have a few extra parts here and there's some assembly required. So the first thing we need to do is connect our air compressor to our little control box here. So you just simply plug this guy into here and turn him on there. We'll tighten that up in a bit. And we have a little air filter that goes on the compressor side so we don't draw in any dirty air and cuts down on some of the moisture. So there's that. So I'm just going to wire this together temporarily. I got my little pink wire here that's an activation wire to the compressor, just sort of shoved in there. And then I have the main wiring harness here, which we will plug in. And I'm just going to use my 12-volt box off to the side here to power this unit on. So we also have our little remote control here that controls the box. So we got that working here. So hopefully that'll all work there. And then we almost forgot our line. We got a little plug right here. Then we're going to plug our line into. So that guy just slips into there like so. And then we just screw that on in. I guess I could have screwed it in first and then slipped the line in, but that is how that goes. So this line right here, that's our feed line. So that's gonna go to our airbag system once we get it installed underneath the truck. And we also have a bunch of fuses and links that will tie into the truck. Actually, those are extra. We don't need those because we're already tied into the truck with our original compressor, but that's what those are for. We also have Schrader valves that we can put in case there's any failure. We can put these in the back end of the truck and we can actually air up the airbags and bypass the compressor. So there's that as well. I'm sure there is a way that we could use this compressor to air up tires too. A little bit of extra plumbing there. So, okay, yeah. But I looked in the instructions and this is a mounting bracket. So this would go into the side of the frame and the plate would go here. So if you want to mount it that way, you can, or it just has 4 screws. You can bolt it directly to the frame of the truck or the underneath of the truck, however you want to do that. And look, I mean, we got like lots of zip ties, so we are golden there. So a little device to cut the lines off too. Everything we need to install this. T-fittings, these are the compression fittings. You just push the line in there, boom, you're done. You cut it, you go on to the next one. Quick, simple, and easy. If you want to know how to install the airbag system, you can go back in my playlist, and I have a video that goes step by step on how to install airbag system and the smaller compressor that we have in the truck currently. Okay, so we have everything hooked up temporarily, our positives, our negatives, and all that good stuff. Our air line right here, which will pretend goes to one of our airbag systems. So first of all, we have this remote control that we can use. So all we have to do is get it turned on here, and let's try this out. Let's say 5 PSI right there. And it works. And of course, there's no PSI building unless we give it a little help, like so, and boom, we have PSIs. And what happens when it drops off? It comes right back on. So there you go. Plug it back up. Yeah, it's coming out right there. Plug it back up, and our PSIs are right back where they belong. So that's neat. Now, what about the app? Let's have a look at that real quick. So what I did is I went to MaxPeedingrods, and they have in the Apple Store, and they have all their apps and everything there. You just download their app, and then you just go in there and you can control a number of their products. But this is the app. It's basic and simple. Just has a couple 3 presets and an up and down arrow that controls your air pressure. So if we give it 5 PSI right there, this guy should kick on, just like that. And we have our PSIs. Then we can lower them down to, say, 0. And there he goes. It depleted the air. So the app works, the remote works, the whole system works. Pretty neat, and it's not too loud. This is a lot quieter than the small little box that we have on it, and this is a much larger system and much more complicated. But we're gonna go out and we're gonna mount this to the truck, hook it up to the airbags real quick, which will be quick and simple. We won't go and review that because we've already hooked up the airbag system before, and we just have to remove the old and plug in the new. So let's go do that real quick. We are now outside and it is time to install this compressor, which should be a pretty easy task considering we already have the back end of this truck already wired up and plumbed into our airbag. So let's go down below and take a look and see what we need to do. All right, down here we will see what is our old compressor right here. It's a MaxPeedingrods brand compressor, and it is perfectly fine and works with no problems. So we have it pinned to the underside of the truck here. This is where the spare tire goes. I already let the spare tire down, and it covers up about half of this compressor, so it keeps it safe and out of the way, and I really like that. See, we already have our wire here for our power. We have our ground wire here and our tubes that go into our airbag system right here and right here. So all of that is already plumbed up into the truck. So all we have to do is lower this, make a couple connections, and we will be good to go. So let's get started. All right, we have our old unit out already. Only took a couple minutes. It is tough and rugged. Self-contained in this little box right here. You can't really see the compressor, but it's definitely a smaller compressor, and it doesn't have the smart system right here connected to it. But this is our much beefier offering that we'll have going into the truck. This should allow us to air up the truck a lot easier. Plus we can use the app or the remote control to let it down and back up, unlike our manual unit right here, which works just fine. We'll be saving this to go on maybe one of our cars with an air shock system. The air shocks are a lot smaller and they'll air up way quicker with less effort. So this is still a good unit. We're going to use it on something else, but this is going to be our big boy for our big boy toys. So let me get this installed and we'll have a look at it. All right, we are out with the old and we are in with the new, and it's all connected to our bags right there. So what I'm going to do is we'll set the camera up here and we'll give it a try and see if she works like she should. All right, I got the old remote control. I'm going to hit it up to about 10 psi here. Yeah. There she goes. And I can see the truck raising already. Yep, she's slowly coming up, but way faster than the old pump by a long shot. Wow, it's really coming up. Huh, well, that worked out pretty good. Now let's see if we can lower it back down here. There she goes, she's coming down now. Dropping her back all the way back down to zero here. Oop, a little bit more, there we go. Yeah. Oh, get her dropped back down here. So I'm using the remote to drop her back down to 0 psi's here. That's all the way down. Yeah, that seems to work pretty good. And we can use the app to get it to do the same thing as we are with the remote. And one more time, just raising her back up. I want to have a look at it too. The airbags are going up. I only put up to 7 psi that time. Yeah, I'm really liking this. This is going to make life so much easier. So yeah, that's the system. She's all tucked up there. I'm going to put the spare tire back up underneath here and protect and hide all this area, and she should be good to go again. Nice. Well, that is going to wrap up our installation of our new pump for our airbag helpers. So definitely going to be a game changer on this truck. So much faster and easier. We can use the old pump on something else. We got our nice shiny new pump on this truck, and we are good to go. So I'm going to leave a link below to a discount code for MaxPeedingrods, and you can use that to buy you a compressor, or just look around and see what else they might have. They have a lot of interesting products, a lot of speed and performance parts, a lot of suspension parts as well. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Street Rat Garage. Until next time.